Hey, good morning, my friend. It is Wednesday, which means it is hump day, and we are halfway through our week. And on Monday, I was talking about EQ, or what we call emotional intelligence. As a researcher, none of the information that I have or the knowledge that I've received are things that I thought up myself. No, it's true. We to be true learners are always seeking knowledge. And that being said, I want to share with you something that is a little bit different than I planned on delivering as a follow up on emotional intelligence that I started on Monday. You see, to provide you with truly useful understanding of what EQ or emotional intelligence is, I want to share with you a narrative by Joshua Friedman. He is the CEO of 6 Seconds and the owner of the LinkedIn group, the Emotional Intelligence Network. Now, I'm going to mostly quote Joshua in how he explained emotional intelligence, and I thought it was just a perfect explanation. So, this is what is written. And he so eloquently states, which is the most problematic misconception? Emotional intelligence is A, just being nice, or B, social skills, or C, being able to control our emotions. And then he explains emotional intelligence. He states that he usually starts by defining intelligence as accurately collecting data and then using that data to solve problems. Well, that's where I come from. I'm very analytical, thanks to my 2 years of statistical analysis in the area of behavioral science. But then he puts a spin on it that's quite impressive. When it comes to mathematical intelligence, we accurately collect data using numbers and then solve math problems, such as creating a budget for next year. Well, that made sense. And then he goes deeper. He says, so emotional intelligence is very similar. It is just a different type of data and problem. For example, we can accurately collect emotional data from the people affected by the budget and solve the problem of getting them on board with the new budget. So, if we look at emotional intelligence and learn how to gather that data, now it can be things that are subtle by facial expressions, voice tonality, body language, micro expressions. These all may be elements of data that we are able to collect once we hone that skill. And again, by the way, there's no problem with having that conversation if you feel comfortable in doing so and inquiring, how are you doing? What's going on? That may look like the be kind part, but it is, as humans, how we collect information and understand that data. Number one, get the data. Notice emotions and reactions, not just in others, but our own emotions also. As we understand in neuroscience, emotions managed by our limbic system, and the amygdala being a part of that, is being able to ask ourselves, what am I feeling and why do I feel that way? We have to understand how we're feeling because how we feel emotionally impacts how we communicate to others. If we're angry, we might be abrupt or even rude. We have to be able to catch ourselves in that moment and collect that data and ask ourselves, is that going to bring me to the outcome I'm looking for? That's the problem solving. That gives us that pause. And this is what I, always remember from Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning, is that between stimulus and response, there's a space where we can stop ourselves and say, do I want this relationship to be better or worse? And then choose our response rather than react to the stimuli. Number 2, pause and assess. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is what I love about Joshua's post. And I highly recommend, if you're interested in emotional intelligence, that you join the Emotional Intelligence Network on LinkedIn, because there's a wealth of knowledge there, and they're wonderful people. So pause and assess. Stop reacting and create more options. Choose yourself. And I take that as meaning as choose whom I want to really be. Who I really want to be. So that pause between stimulus and response to say, and in his illustration, which I will not be sharing, but he has your why is a part of it, right? Taking from Simon Sinek. So as, thought leaders, we share and play with each other's ideas. So the idea of my why, my purpose, my cause is not to make relationships, whether they are close relationships or not so close relationships, I want to create better relationships. So in that pause, I choose kindness. I choose respect for all people. And then 3, Joshua goes on and says, go on purpose. Here we are at the why. Why do I exist? Why should anyone care? Because when we care for others, we are more likely to have others care about us. And this is why emotional intelligence is so important, is that we are all human beings. We are all going through this human experience. And sometimes empathy is a way of bridging differences. So he says, go on purpose, make a choice aligned with both empathy and a larger purpose, a vision. And this is something you give to yourself. Very interesting. That's very different from controlling your emotions and sticking them in a box. And this is a quote by Joshua. Trying not to feel. To be intelligent, we actually have to use the data and feel it to heal it. And I want to thank Joshua and all the folks at the Emotional Intelligent Network on LinkedIn. But I think, I hope that this has provided you with some valuable insight in terms of emotional intelligence. It's an active, participative process that we have to, know and understand our own emotions. Because empathy is understanding or making the effort to understand how someone else might be feeling. Look, we're all human beings. Our emotions are not all that dissimilar. The reasons for those emotions may be, but the reality is that those emotions in our limbic brain are, I won't say hardwired. There may be some room for neuroplasticity in terms of being able to control and understand our emotions. But at the same time, life, it's about relationships. Try going without. Anyway, I want you to think about that. So I'm going to go through it one more time. 1, gather the data. Notice emotions and reactions and know your own. 2, pause and assess. Take that data and process it. Stop reacting and create more options. Choose your genuine self. Remember, there's a space between stimulus and response, and that is where our true self lives. And three, go on purpose. Make a choice aligned with both empathy and larger purpose, and find yourself. I hope this was helpful. Please, give some comments and tell me your thoughts and insights. I truly appreciate them. And I learned through you as much as I learned through others. And I want to thank especially Joshua Friedman and his insights and his wisdom and the group on LinkedIn called the Emotional Intelligence Network. I want you to think about that for the remainder of the week. We only have a few days left. And yes, my friends, the weekend is in sight. And until next Monday for Monday Morning Cup of Joe, lead well, my friends.